We're joined now by Congressman Burchett, Republican from Tennessee. Good morning, sir. I mean, gosh, dadgum, 3 weeks ago, this was the biggest story in the country. It's completely fallen by the wayside. And you say the story's still out there. So what do you know that we don't?
Well, the drones are still out there. I'm still talking to people that are seeing them. You know, these things flew over our military installations where you had to stop flights. And now it hasn't been reported very much, but it was reported yesterday, I believe, that one of those tanker planes that comes in, swoops in and picks up water and then drops it on the fires in California. The plane is out because guess what? It sucked a drone up into its engines. So this is a huge problem. Our government is denying its existence. The people are saying it's out there. And as usual, you know, Americans want their pizzas in 30 minutes or less. And dadgummit, there you go. You got you a dadgummit. And dadgummit, that's about our attention. That's about our attention span. And we've moved on to another story, but those things are still out there. And it was my original premise that the Chinese were watching this and seeing how we react. Just like the balloon that flew over America that should have been shot down, but it wasn't because our White House and our military intelligence basically are compromised by these folks. And all the Chinese did was just watch to see our reaction. That was the big test. It wasn't getting any information. Heck, they got people up here that are hanging out with congressmen, and you know they've infiltrated a lot of areas of government, and we just let it ride.
But is the problem still obviously you're clearly still hearing from people who are seeing these drone sightings, and you have this report of this plane, you know, hitting or sucking up one of these drones into its engine. But is it still as prevalent as it was 3 weeks ago?
I think it is. It's just spread out more now, and nobody's paying any attention to it. So I think it's the chicken or the egg. I think that the plan worked. They wanted to see what we would do, and they know we wouldn't do anything. And so now they're moving on to something else. But the reality is they're still out there. They're still flying these things. They're still surveilling our military installations. They're all over the country. And yet our federal government refuses to admit that there's a problem with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and obviously attention has been focused on the West Coast for, you know, and rightfully so for the past week.
So.
But you've still been having conversations behind the scenes, it sounds like. So are you any closer to figuring out what's happening here or what these drones could be part of?
I hate to be the chicken little of the bunch, but I don't think it's extraterrestrials. I think it's the Chinese or somebody in collusion with them, and they're monitoring our response to them. I think it's pretty evident that if they wanted to, they could bring a submarine, say, off the coast of New York and launch, say, 50 of these with nuclear capabilities or biological capabilities or a dirty bomb situation. And I think that's what you got to watch. And it's not James Bond. It's pretty simple to do.
So do you think we're in danger?
Oh, 100%. I think we're completely in danger, and our military is asleep, and our legislative branch is asleep, and currently our media is asleep on it. So, and we know there's no executive branch anymore. It's about 20 kids up there pulling the strings. So we're in a really vulnerable situation for the next few weeks, I believe.
Speaking of the next few weeks, just before I let you go, obviously, President-elect Trump becomes president once again on Monday. Are you hopeful that he'll bring about new change or blow the lid off this story in some form or another?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that after he's here, it'll go away because currently at that stage, because he said we'll shoot them down. And that's the bottom line. He said he knows. He even said that the military and intelligence know where these things are coming from. Mm-hmm. You know, they can read the date of a dime off the pitcher's mound at Yankee Stadium. Yet they say they can't find out where these things are coming from. They just have an air life of about a couple hours at max. Yeah. So you can pretty much figure out where they're coming from at that stage. So it's I just think we're inept and arrogant, and those are a terrible combination when you're supposed to be be defending our country.
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe you just breathed new life back into the story, and we'll stay on top of it. Thank you so much for hopping on.